The winners in life think constantly in terms of I can, I will, and I am. Losers, on the other hand, concentrate their waking thoughts on what they should have, or would have, or what they can't do. That is by Dennis Whitley. Good morning and welcome to Business Africa Live on BTA. I'm your host, Benjamin Afre. This morning, I want to take a look at a critical part of our development, our Central Securities Depository. What is it? What part does it play in the economy of this country? What is its impact? What are some of the challenges that we've gone through and what they are doing to resolve those challenges? We'll take a short break or come back. I'll introduce our guest to you, an important person, you know, and then we'll take our discussion from there. Stay tuned in and we'll be right back.
Do you know that there are more successful people in Ghana today than before? Well, that is the truth. And the secret is in prudent financial planning with the right financial manager. You need to know the right fund manager who spends your money 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 4 weeks in a month, and 12 months in a year. That manager is at Gold Coast Fund Management. At Gold Coast, your money never sleeps. It revolves every second to give you more money for use when you really need it. For the past 21 years, Gold Coast Fund Management has held a strong reputation of spending people's money to beat inflation, depreciation, and treasury bill rates. Put your money to work. Move from savings to investment. Pay your investment tithe into the Gold Fund and Gold Money Market Fund, and be assured that when you are in need, you can turn to them to resolve your financial problems. Gold Coast Fund Management. Investment advice worth its weight in gold.
Welcome back. The Central Securities Depository. What is it? You know, what have they done? What is their impact? What is their role in the economic development of this country? What are some of the challenges that they've gone through since its inception? And what are they doing to address it? What are some of the achievements they've made over the period since they were brought up as part of the Bank of Ghana's system? To do a discussion with me this morning is a very important person, Mr. Stephen Tetteh, who is the Chief Executive Officer of the Central Securities Depository. Mr. Tetteh, thank you and good morning.
Thank you
for coming on our show.
Good
it's a
morning,
pleasure,
Ben.
and I'm very happy that anytime we call you, you are always there to respond to our call.
Thank you.
Thank you. So when we talk about the Central Securities Depository, what exactly are we talking about?
Thank you, Ben. The Central Securities Depository is a company that maintains accounts of investments in securities.
Okay.
Securities meaning shares in companies that are listed on the Ghana Stock Exchange, and then government securities, treasury bills, government bonds, and Bank of Ghana securities.
I see. So that has been your major focus since 2009, when the CSD was put into place.
We were actually established in 2004.
2004?
Yes, 2004.
I see.
Initially, it was established as a department of the Bank of Ghana to help the Bank of Ghana to maintain accounts of investors in government securities, treasury bills, in electronic form.
Okay.
You know, previously, anybody who buys securities is given a paper certificate to show the ownership.
Of
but
securities.
Since the inception of the depository in 2004, all investors in government securities were required to open accounts.
An electronic account.
Electronic account. So that it's just maintained when you buy shares, it's credited to that account. When you sell shares, it's just taken out of that account and given to the new owner.
I see. But what was the need for that in the first place?
Dealing with paper has a lot of risk.
That's true.
Yes. Apart from the laborious nature in transferring shares. Because if somebody buys your shares, it has to go to the registrar.
That's true.
Cancel that certificate and reissue a new certificate for the new person. And as you know, this may take a very long time.
That's true.
Because they have to verify the old owner, the authenticity of that certificate.
That's true. Before
issuing new certificate. And also with paper, anything at all can happen to it. Can get lost, eaten by termites.
That's true.
It can be stolen.
Yeah.
So this was the main thing to solve this problem of dealing in paper, so that our market can move forward. Initially, this was meant only for the government securities.
Okay.
But
the treasury bills,
the government
notes,
bonds, and notes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
But along the line, it was meant to be extended to all securities. Securities listed on the Ghana Stock Exchange, which are shares of companies, and even shares of unlisted companies.
As well.
Any company that has owners, shareholders, they can put their shares in electronic form on a depository.
We haven't seen much of that though, especially the unlisted equities. We haven't seen a lot of them come to the depository with their shares.
We have some shares, but because they are private.
That's why we don't get to hear about them.
They are private, so we just deal with the unlisted, the companies, their registrar, and so on. So that one, since it's not a public thing, we don't publish those ones. It's only those public ones, the listed companies, that we are required to send information to the public.
I see. So if you look at since your inception, from 2004 as a department, and now as an entity, as a corporate body itself, would you say you've achieved all your objectives for your setup?
We have come very far. We have achieved a lot. I may not say all,
but
we have achieved a lot. Proud to the establishment of the depository. You come to the office, the head of the treasury bills, and you see a pile of certificates that will have to be signed and posted before the owner can receive value for his securities. Yes, so sometimes you buy securities and it could take very long. And as long as you don't have the certificate,
you can't claim
ownership. So it means that even if the market is moving and you decide to sell, you have to wait.
I see. Until you get your certificate.
Until you get your certificate. But now, as soon as ownership is declared, transfer is made instantly. Just like going to the bank and presenting a check. As soon as a check and you have the securities, the money is paid to you.
That is true.
So it has really achieved so much. With the stock exchange also is the same thing. Previously, you buy or you sell your shares, and it takes so long because the registrar has to verify the ownership before you are paid.
That's true.
And sometimes some even for about 6 months.
You don't get any.
You don't get your money. But now instantly on the stock exchange, settlements is on the third day after you buy the fourth day after you buy the securities. So now as soon as it is confirmed that you have bought the securities and the seller has the securities, we just debit the account of the seller and credit your account and take the money. At the same time, we take the money from the buyer and then give the money to the seller. This can happen right on the fourth day of the transaction.
So that makes the role of the CSE very, very important in the scheme of things, especially on the capital market.
Very, very important. A number of foreign investors will not invest on your market unless you have a depository.
I see.
Yeah, because the depository mitigates a lot of risk. A lot of risk. There is something we call DVP, delivery versus payment, whereby the investor is looking at the practice where he won't release his money
until
he is getting his certificate.
That's true.
And the one who is having the certificate, also the owner of the securities, will also not want to release the securities until he's ready to receive the money.
Yeah.
So you are receiving the money in your right hand and giving the security in your left hand. That is what is called delivery versus payment. And investors, sophisticated investors, will never go into a market which doesn't have this, because you release your certificate, and while you are waiting for the money to be paid, anything at all can happen. So it's a risk. I can remember some time ago, even the UN had some funds to invest in emerging markets. Ghana lost that because
we didn't have
the depository to take in those investments.
I see.
So the depository has really moved our market.
Brought a lot of transparency as well into the market.
Yes. But as I said, we still have some work to be done to bring in efficiency and other requirements that the market
in terms of data and access to data, how well has the introduction of the central or the depository, how well has it brought this about in terms of looking for information on trade, information of how many clients you have in the system and all that? How well has this been able to, has been achieved?
As I indicated, the depository maintains data, information. So any transaction on the market, you can get information from the depository on daily basis. And as much as possible, we try to put this information into the public domain. So we publish regular data. We have our annual report. We have our quarterly report. And at our website, you can have the daily data being streamed there. We give data to other institutions. Bloomberg broadcast our data daily. And we work very closely with the stock exchange. So a lot of the data published by the stock exchange comes from us. Now we have NDK Financial Services, also that stream some of our data daily on their index.
I see.
Their index. So we have a lot of, and we can get information out on request, and even coming to the investor themselves. We have all the information. We open an account for you, and all transactions on your account, you can have access
to that.
To it. You ask for your statement and so on, and these things. So it's a very good system, and data is readily available.
Now, if you look at the fact that we had a system where certificates were issued to people prior to the introduction of the electronic system, and now where somebody comes to the market and can easily go there, I want to believe there are still some people with certificates who haven't brought them to the market yet. What happens to those people?
That's a challenge that we have. We have a law passed by Parliament, the Central Securities Depository Act 2007, that set up the depository.
Yeah.
In that act, there's provision that investors can continue to hold certificates. Okay, but before you sell your securities, it necessarily have to be converted
into
to
the
electronic
form.
But we try to encourage people to bring their certificates willingly because of the advantages. So far, as at now, I think we have about 76%
I see.
of all shares listed on the Ghana Stock Exchange being deposited into the depository. I mean, those have open accounts.
70% is really high.
We wish we can even go to 100% because of the advantages, the benefits, and so on. That even this 76% or so, we realize that is the very high net worth owners who have, because they understand the benefits, they have brought their certificates and so on. So you realize that the small shareholders who are even in the majority,
they are the
ones who
their certificates.
Yeah, so that has been a challenge to us, and we are doing as much as possible to get them to bring their certificates. It's not compulsory. Now we are trying also to work through the companies instead of issuing certificates, we want to encourage them to
go directly
to the depository, because the law also empowers them to pass a resolution and say that from today we won't issue any certificate.
So that's how come UT Bank chose to go there when they were listening in 2008.
Yes.
I see.
So now, fortunately, all the companies have resolved that any new shares, rights issues, bonuses will not be certificated, because issuing certificates is expensive.
That's true.
Laborious, even the printing the paper, and the paper must have some security features.
That's true.
The signature, the authentication, and all those things. So if we can get 100%, it will be a massive bonus to the market.
And I want to assure you that Business Television Africa would readily partner you in whatever drive you want to take to ensure that people out there get to know and understand why they should do this, so that the rest of the 30% we can get them to the market as well.
We'll be very grateful.
Part of our duty.
We'll be very grateful.
We'll help you do that.
That will be.
It's a promise.
That will help you do a lot. Thank you.
Now, in terms of challenges, since 2004, and then when the law was passed for CS to become a corporate entity on its own, what has been some of the challenges, and what have you done to resolve them?
As I mentioned, the challenge, the first one is investors surrendering their certificate. This year, we want to be able to increase this percentage to about 85%.
I see.
So we want to do
a lot of outreach,
yes,
and all that.
to encourage the investors to surrender their certificate. Now, we deal with a lot of data, and the security of that data is very, very important, because the data we hold is as good as money.
That's true.
So protecting that information is key, and it's a challenge to us. Because we always want to work to beat the fraudster.
The fraudsters, yeah.
The fraudster. So it means it means a lot of investment, costly investment, to always protect our data. So we have signed on to a company that fortunately has audited us for our data security.
I see.
So now we are implementing what we call the ISMS, Information Security Management System. And I'm happy and proud to say that we have been awarded an ISO certification.
Wonderful.
International Securities,
Wonderful.
Standards, International Standards Organization certificate.
I see.
27001.
Wonderful.
Which means that the
security level is very high.
Very high. It meets international standard. But as I said, the challenge is that we must maintain the standard.
It's a continuous process.
Yes.
It can't be just once.
Yeah. Just last month we have what we call penetration testing.
Okay.
We specifically hired somebody to sit somewhere and try to break into our system.
I see.
And I received a report just this Wednesday, and they said that they tried as much as possible, And every time they go into the system, they try the number of times, the system blocks them. So the report they have given to us is that our security, information security is very good.
Wonderful.
It's up to the
Wonderful.
standard.
Wonderful.
So risk management has been a very, very challenging thing for us. And the board has taken it up at the highest level that we continue to maintain. But as I said, it's expensive.
That's true.
It's expensive.
Security is expensive.
Because so many things, our business continuity, because information, we have some 3 terms that we use. CIA, it must be confidential, confidentiality. Okay. If you don't need to know, don't tell him. So if you don't have access to that information, you don't need to have it. If you don't need that information, you don't need to have it. The integrity of the data, so that once you receive your statement and they say that you have shares of 200,000, it means that is the number of shares. Nobody can intercept it and change the 200,000 to 20, and so on. So the integrity of the data must be, and because we have dealers every time on the market, our system must always be available. The information must be available. When somebody logs in and wants information, it must be available. So we try as much as possible to maintain our system in such a way that we satisfy this. So
confidentiality, integrity, availability.
Availability is very key, and so that in the same way there are challenges for us. Then also we have the challenge of liquidity.
Liquidity
on the market. On the market. Our market.
That's a big one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Our market, the liquidity, our market is very shallow. It's very shallow.
That's true.
One, the number of companies listed on the stock exchange are low. Transactions volumes
are also low.
And so on. We have the issue of people buying at IPOs, at initial offer, and then they go and keep it and forget about it.
Some of them frame them and keep them in their offices.
They forget about it. But if people will be selling and buying, then that is when the market, and then you can have this thing. So we try as much as possible to get information, to see the benefit. People have monies that they are keeping in their homes.
That is true.
They should bring it to the market, because the market, we want to encourage businesses also
to list on the market as well.
Use the capital market to raise capital. So these things have been challenges.
I mean, you work quite closely with the stock exchange. You don't just sit as just a depositor, but you also work with them to see more companies coming onto the market, more trades happen on the market as well.
Yes, because we are like the transfer agent. So any transaction that takes place on the exchange must necessarily come to us to change ownership, and then the clearing and settlement.
I see.
So you go to the exchange, the trade is undertaken there, but before you get your securities, before you get your money, it has to pass through us. So we work very closely, very, very closely with them. Now we have 2 executives of the Ghana Stock Exchange being on our board.
Oh, okay.
On our board, yeah.
Okay.
So that
I see.
I mean, we can see what they are doing, and then they also know what they are doing and make input into policies that will move the depository forward.
We'll take a short break. When we come back, I want to take a look at the merger between the CSD and then the GSD. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Do you know that there are more successful people in Ghana today than before? Well, that is the truth. And the secret is in prudent financial planning with the right financial manager. You need to know the right fund manager who spends your money 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 4 weeks in a month, and 12 months in a year. That manager is at Gold Coast Fund Management. At Gold Coast, your money never sleeps. It revolves every second to give you more money for use when you really need it. For the past 21 years, Gold Coast Fund Management has held a strong reputation of spending people's money to beat inflation, depreciation, and treasury bill rates. Put your money to work. Move from savings to investment. Pay your investment tithe into the Gold Fund and Gold Money Market Fund, and be assured that when you are in need, you can turn to them to resolve your financial problems. Gold Coast Fund Management. Investment advice worth its weight in gold. The African Business Talk analyzes Africa's business development and how policies and initiatives affect the lives of the African. The talk aims at opening opportunities for industry as well as sound trade cultural practices between business owners and entrepreneurs in continental Africa and in the diaspora. Don't miss it as we engage think tanks, businessmen and women, entrepreneurs, chief executives, innovators, and people who have worked to transform countries like Ghana, Nigeria, Liberia, Benin, Togo, South Africa, Botswana, Egypt, and many other African economies. The African Business Talk, live on Business Television Africa.
Welcome back. So the GSD and CSD merged just about a couple of weeks ago. Why was that important, and how does it help in terms of regulation?
Initially, the depository was set up by the Bank of Ghana.
Okay.
As an interim thing, because in 2004, when we were operating under the company's code, there was a requirement that ownership of certificates must be, ownership of securities must be certificated. So 2004, the law forbade electronic issue of shares. But at that time, Bank of Ghana was already issuing paperless government securities. Okay. So we took it up to continue its internal process, but with the aim that if the clause in the company's code is amended, then it could extend it to the market.
Okay.
So the law was passed in 2007 that paved the way for electronic issue of shares,
okay,
and so on. Okay. Unfortunately, we were moving too slowly for the stock exchange because they required electronic shares to be able to implement their automated trading system.
Okay.
So they were compelled to set up a second depository.
So originally it was supposed to have been just one depository that will handle everything.
Yes.
But because of the slowness and the need for exchange to hurry up, they had to set up a different one.
Yes. Okay. And after operating it for some time, we had been talking because the Ghana market, the financial market in Ghana is very small. And as I indicated earlier, maintaining systems are expensive. So we were actually duplicating this because we all have the capacity to do everything. So why do we duplicate? So we were talking ever since the second depository was set up in 2008. We started talking. Fortunately, in 2011, 2010, also the government, through the Ministry of Finance, took it up.
Okay.
Called us together to tell us the benefit of having only
one
a single
depository.
Because it will, a single depository will reduce transaction cost.
That's true.
To the market. Because now, as when we had the two depositories, if you have treasury bills, you open an account on the Bank of Ghana depository.
CSD,
you have shares, you open an account on this. And it is the same brokers who are dealing on the market. So
That's
it means
true.
a broker will have to deal with the CSD
Also
and
deal
deal
with
with
the
the other one. So we came together, we started talking, the boards, the Ministry of Finance facilitated it, and then we all agreed that it will be in the interest of the country
to have a
single
depository.
So we went through all the evaluations, all the details, and so on, and we ended up signing an agreement in 24th December.
Yep.
2013. So effective 1st January 2014, we have only a single depository.
I see. And I'm sure pretty soon we'll see much more coming from that single depository. So in terms of regulation, it means that now only one CSD will regulate the depository market. You don't have two anymore. That is one. Right? And then also, in terms of data management, it's now held by only one entity and no more two. So if I'm a client and I have treasury bill and I have stocks, I can have one statement that shows all of them. Is that where we are going?
Yes, that's where we are going, but we haven't got there yet.
Okay.
As at 31st December 2013, you know, the two depositories have their database separately. Okay. And then data migration is an expensive process that you must make sure that the data you are taking from one system into the other system is authentic. Okay, authentic and so on. So we have been given 1 year transition period within which to bring all the data onto one platform. So during that period, the 1 year, we are working to have a very robust system that can do all the gamut of activities in the debt market, government securities, bonds, and then the equity market. So we have just started the process to buy a new state-of-the-art system. So by the end of this year, I promise you that we're going to have a system that will be comparable to any system anywhere in the world, if not even higher.
Wonderful.
So that's what we're doing, and then by the end of the year, which is the end of the transition period, we'll have everything on one platform. So you call for your statement, and everything will be in a single statement for you.
The fixed income side and then the equities on one.
Everything.
I see.
And so in that same way, brokers and other dealers will only deal with one depository. We want to make it a one-stop.
So for this year, your targets are to ensure that this transition period is successful enough to get your system up and running by beginning of early next year.
We are working hard on that.
What other targets are you working on this year?
When we install this system, definitely it has to be linked to the Ghana Stock Exchange.
Okay.
So alongside the installation of the new system, it has to be linked with the stock exchange system and so on. We have to maintain our ISO certification. Okay. We also want to be able to give access to all clients to their account.
Online?
Yes. So you don't need to wait for a statement at the end of the period, 6 months or 3 months. You can just log into your account from anywhere
and then
check on your this thing. There are other products that, alongside this installation of the new platform, that we want to introduce. We are working with SEC. SEC is really bringing out new regulations.
That's true.
Legislation to facilitate some of the products that we hear about in the
advanced market.
Yeah, like securities, lending and borrowing.
That is true.
Yes,
that's true.
You don't need to have the securities in hand before you go to the market and sell.
Yeah.
If we have the structures, we have the legislation, you can just go and buy, or you go and sell the security, and then you go to a lending house, and so I've sold a security I don't have, so I want to borrow from you, deliver it, and later I go to the market and buy it and bring it back to you.
Actually, we have clients who are pushing to get that already, so hopefully that coming would be helpful to the market.
Those are the things that bring liquidity to the market.
That's true.
Liquidity to the market.
That's true.
And so on. So we're hoping that there are other some other products that we are working, and the new system we are acquiring has a lot of modules. It's just the financial part that may keep us, so we may have to put them in phases.
You can do all at the same time.
But in the medium term. In addition, we are drawing up a strategic plan.
Okay.
Because currently what we are doing is something just come into our mind, that, this thing is being done somewhere, and then we go into it. We want to have a structured way of looking at. So we are bringing in a consultant to help draft a strategic plan for us for the medium term. So that we know that in 2018, this is where we want to be. And we have the roadmap for us to get there. So along that roadmap, we want to introduce a number of things that will bring us at par to any market around. Yeah.
One thing you haven't spoken about is settlement. I know that prior to the merger, you had the central settlement system by the stock exchange. And then in terms of treasury, there was a separate settlement system. Are you merging these two, or you are going to keep the separate settlement systems?
Once we have a single platform, it means that we have to have a single settlement system. Yes. There are a number of options. Currently, the equities are settled through a commercial bank. Whereas the government securities bonds are settled through the central bank. There are some recommendations by IOSCO, the International Organization of Securities Commissions, that it's ideal to settle securities in central bank funds, because that is a secure,
much more
way.
Secured.
We haven't taken a decision yet. We have to look at the advantages and disadvantages. The ideal is the central bank funds. Yes, but we have to take into consideration the peculiar nature of our market and take a decision. But obviously, we have to have a single settlement system. What we have with the central bank now is it operates on a straight-through process. A straight-through. So once a transaction takes place on the depository, nobody touches anything. The two systems between the depository and Bank of Ghana start talking to each other. So the depository will send a message to Bank of Ghana and say, this person has bought securities, check his account and see whether he has money
to settle.
Once the account is clear in Bank of Ghana, the Bank of Ghana will move the funds, send a message back to the depository will move the securities, all within a matter of seconds.
I see.
And so on. So these are, and we use a very secure network, which is SWIFT. SWIFT is a financial network that is so robust and secure. And that is the ideal thing. So We'll be talking.
I see.
We'll talk with the market. We usually have a series of discussions with the market.
Okay.
And then we'll look at the benefits, the advantage, the
options
best
to
option, and then we'll do that.
I know we don't have time, but there are two quick things I want to ask on. The first one is, how well are you doing financially?
That's a good one.
Are you making money?
I'll say yes.
Oh, nice.
I'll say yes. 2000 and when we were incorporated, 2010, obviously, we couldn't make much.
Okay.
2010, 2011, we made losses.
I see.
So we're always being supported by Bank of Ghana.
Okay.
But they warned us that we have to grow.
You have to sit on your own, but
We have to grow.
yeah.
So 2012, we made some modest profit.
I see.
But I must say 2013 has been good.
Wow.
You know,
The way you're smiling, the might has been very good.
yeah, it's good because and unfortunately we ride on the problems of government. As government, because we charge government for issuing securities.
So the more they borrow,
Yeah, the more they
money you
borrow,
make.
the more money we make. So that's why I said
I
but
see.
we want to go out and find other revenue streams because
That's true.
once things start being good for government,
You might be in
we'll
trouble.
lose. Yes, that's why we want to go out and see what other products.
You can bring
In
money
some
back.
jurisdictions, they use it for so many things.
Yeah.
In
yeah,
India,
Yeah.
I understand that verification of certificates
That's true.
is not done by the universities.
No.
It's done by the depository.
Wow.
So if you apply for a job and they have to verify your certificate, they don't go to the university.
They just
They
check
go
with
to the depository because the depository has all records
Oh.
of certificates that are issued by the.
So it's more
by
like a centralized record system, not only for just securities,
No.
but you can use it for.
You can use it.
other
Other
purposes
jurisdictions
too.
are using it for so many things, for
see. I
tax,
see.
and other information records and so on. Okay,
I see.
because
I see.
the platform is there, so you can just put anything, any information that you want. So we want to really get out. We want to initiate discussions with the Ghana Revenue Authority. Perhaps that they can also appoint us as withholding agents, because we
that's
have
true.
all the records.
That is very
So
true.
on.
Should
So,
be easier.
our financial statement has just been audited. We
Okay.
haven't published it yet, but the bottom line has
It's
been
good.
Has been good.
It's nice to know when a government agency, in quotes, is making money. And are you going to then manage yourself? Are you going to win yourself from Bank of Ghana?
We are not government agents now. We are private
you
because
see,
we are owned currently by the Bank of Ghana and the Ghana
Okay.
Stock Exchange.
Ah,
So it's
I
a private
see, a
entity.
private entity.
Bank of Ghana owns 82%, and
Yeah,
then
the Stock
Exchange owns
18.
18%.
So are you taking care of yourself? Or both of them are paying you still?
No. I mean, as I said, since 2012, Bank of Ghana gave us something,
More
but
like a seed money.
no, they gave us seed money at the incorporation.
Okay.
But 2010, 2011, and part of 2012, when we were not able to support ourselves, they gave us some subvention. But the governor, presently the vice president, warned us that we must be able to stand on our feet. So, fortunately, last year, we didn't go for anything from Bank of Ghana,
Nice one.
apart from the support they gave us for the merger.
Okay. Okay.
The merger.
Yeah.
And this year, we hope that we can make it. The only problem is we are investing so much on the infrastructure.
That is true.
So we'll still go, not to support our
daily operations,
but
the
capital
capital expenditure.
investment. And even if they give us and they want to consider it as repayable, we believe we can generate
enough to cover
repay.
that.
Yes, to repay.
That's good to know, and I'm sure that with the support of your team, you probably will exceed that target. Now, finally, on the integration of the market that is going on, what role is CSD playing across the West African markets? I know it started just this month in April. What role is the CSD playing?
The CSD is deeply involved. We participate. In fact, I'm a member of the technical committee that meet regularly.
The WACMIC.
Yeah, the WACMIC. Yeah, we meet regularly. We were in Abuja last month.
Okay.
We participated in the public fora that goes around, and definitely we also presented our settlement models, which has been adopted by the council.
Okay.
And so we would be deeply involved. We are talking among ourselves how to link up and so on. Eventually, all the depositories in the sub-region will be linked up.
Okay.
Will be linked up so that we could interchange information and then data, and be able to keep accounts for each investor and so on. So the depositories are deeply involved in the process.
Any final words to our viewers?
Yes, I want to thank you for this opportunity. As I mentioned, getting investors to bring their certificates is a challenge to us. So I want to use this platform to tell investors, those who are still holding their certificates, that we have a very robust system, secured system that can maintain their records. So we want to encourage them to surrender their certificates. They can just walk to their brokers. We are linked online to the brokers. So the brokers will take their information. They go with some ID, national passport, driver's license, voters ID, and
even the national identification.
Yeah, the national ID
as well.
and so on. And then the broker will open an account for you, take your certificates, verify, and your account is credited. You can ask for your statement anytime and so on. So we want to encourage shareholders to surrender their certificates. So if I have anything, this may be an appeal through you for our shareholders to surrender. It carries a lot of advantage for them, and we want to ensure them.
Mr. T, as we call you.
Ben, thank you.
Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure meeting you and talking with you. I'm grateful for the time that you spent with us, the explanations and all that you've given us. As I said, Business Television Africa will support you in any way that we can. So anything, anytime, just let us know. I'll be there to make sure we're able to give you coverage and any assistance that we're able to give you. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So we've been talking to Mr. Stephen Tetteh, the CEO of the Central Securities Depository of Ghana. They're doing some very good job. And as he said, there's a need for us to help make sure that what they are doing succeeds. It's not just for them, but for the security of your own shares, treasury bills, and all that. So we should give them all the necessary support that they need. It's been good coming your way. Today is a Friday, so make sure you go out there and enjoy yourself. But as you do that, remember to come back and invest, and make sure you bring your certificates to the CSD to ensure that they are safe, they are secured for you to transact any business. I've been your host, Benjamin Afre. Hopefully we'll see you Monday morning, same time. Stay tuned in and have a good day.
Do you know that there are more successful people in Ghana today than before? Well, that is the truth. And the secret is in prudent financial planning with the right financial manager. You need to know the right fund manager who spends your money 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 4 weeks in a month, and 12 months in a year. That manager is at Gold Coast Fund Management. At Gold Coast, your money never sleeps. It revolves every second to give you more money for use when you really need it. For the past 21 years, Gold Coast Fund Management has held a strong reputation of spending people's money to beat inflation, depreciation, and treasury bill rates. Put your money to work. Move from savings to investment. Pay your investment tithe into the Gold Fund and Gold Money Market Fund, and be assured that when you are in need, you can turn to them to resolve your financial problems. Gold Coast Fund Management. Investment advice worth its weight in gold.